4 wins from 4 starts, 43 points clear. Kimi Antonelli has been the most dominant force in Formula One since the very first race of 2026. No driver on this grid has been able to stop him. Not Verstappen, not Norris, not Russell, not Hamilton. Nobody. And then Formula One went to Monaco. The championship leader, the 19-year-old who just broke Lewis Hamilton's records and is currently making this sport look easy, sat down at a press conference after his 4th win and said something that nobody expected from him. He said Ferrari are going to be the team to beat in Monaco. Not us, not Mercedes, Ferrari. And if that surprises you, if you thought Mercedes were just going to cruise to Monaco and make it 5 in a row, then you haven't been watching what Ferrari have been building all season. Because Monaco is not like any other race. Monaco is the one circuit on the entire calendar where everything that makes Mercedes dominant stops mattering, and everything Ferrari have been quietly developing all season suddenly matters more than anything else. This video is the complete breakdown. Why Monaco is Ferrari's race to lose, why Antonelli himself knows it, why Hamilton could win his first race in Ferrari red, and why this weekend could completely reset the 2026 championship. Stick with me. Monaco weekend starts now. Let me explain something really clearly, because there's a common misunderstanding about why Mercedes has been so dominant in 2026. Most people watch the highlights and think it's just the car, or the driver, or both. And yes, Antonelli is extraordinary, and the Mercedes is a fantastic machine. But the single biggest reason Mercedes has won every race this season? The power unit. The Mercedes engine is the best on the grid in 2026. It produces more usable power, delivers it more smoothly, and manages the energy recovery systems more efficiently than any rival. On circuits like Australia, China, Canada, where you have long straights and heavy acceleration zones, that advantage is worth between 3 and 5/10ths per lap. 3 to 5/10ths every single lap. That's a gap no amount of aerodynamic genius can fully close. Now look at Monaco. It's 3.3 kilometers of narrow streets with barriers on both sides. Maximum speed barely touches 290 kilometers per hour. Slower than almost every other circuit on the calendar. There is no proper straight, there are no DRS zones, and the entire lap is a sequence of low-speed technical corners where mechanical grip, aerodynamic downforce, and driver confidence matter infinitely more than raw power output. Monaco is the one track on the entire calendar where Mercedes' engine advantage basically disappears. Hamilton said it perfectly after Canada. He said, and these are his exact words, "Monaco is the one track where power is not king. I think our car could be really strong there. If you take away the power deficit, we're in the fight with these guys. Monaco should be fun." That is a 7-time world champion telling you that on every circuit except Monaco, his car has a fundamental power deficit. And at Monaco, for 5 days this week, that deficit vanishes. And what does Ferrari have when the power gap disappears? The best chassis on the grid for low-speed corners. Ferrari's SF26 has been visibly, measurably the quickest car through low-speed and medium-speed corners all season. The chassis balance is exceptional, the mechanical grip is outstanding, and there's a specific aerodynamic detail on the back of the car, a rear winglet configuration that Ferrari have developed specifically to generate low-speed downforce that Antonelli himself pointed to after Canada. He said, "For sure, Ferrari are the favorite, because also with that winglet they have in the back, it's giving them a lot of downforce of low speeds." The championship leader telling you his rival's car suits Monaco better than his own. That is either extraordinary humility or a genuine warning. It's both. Now let's talk about Charles Leclerc specifically, because his relationship with this race is one of the most emotionally loaded stories in the history of Formula One. Leclerc was born in Monaco. He grew up a few hundred meters from the circuit. He learned to swim in the swimming pool at the chicane of turns 14 and 15, the same chicane he now breaks from 280 kilometers per hour to attack on race day. Monaco is not just a home race for Leclerc, it's literally his backyard. And for years, Monaco absolutely tortured him. 2021, qualifying crash, pole position stripped away by his own mistake meters from the end of a perfect lap. 2022, he qualified on pole, led the race, had the win in his hands, and then Ferrari pit-stopped him at the wrong moment, double-stacking him with Sainz in a strategic disaster that dropped him from first to fourth. He sat in his car barely able to speak on team radio. "I can't believe it," he kept saying. "I can't believe what they've done." Year after year, Monaco gave him the pole position and then snatched the victory away through crashes, bad luck, or his own team's mistakes. And then 2024 happened. Charles Leclerc finally won his home race. The curse was broken. And watching him cross that finish line in front of his family, his hometown, an entire nation screaming his name, it was one of the most emotional moments Formula One has produced in years. He won't want to stop at one. Coming into this weekend, Leclerc holds the record for the most pole positions at Monaco in the modern Formula One era. He knows every millimeter of these barriers. He knows every bump, every curb, every shadow on the road. And he arrives with a car that every analyst on the grid agrees suits this circuit better than any other race this season. If there is one race, one weekend, one set of conditions designed for Leclerc to take Ferrari's first win of 2026, this is it. But here's the problem he didn't have last year. Lewis Hamilton is in the form of his Ferrari career right now. Canada was his best result since joining the Scuderia. Second place, ahead of Verstappen, 11 seconds behind Antonelli, which in the current state of Formula One is genuinely competitive. He was the fastest Ferrari in qualifying. He was the fastest Ferrari in race trim. He was, for the first time in 2026, clearly and definitively the quicker of the two Ferrari drivers on the same weekend. And Leclerc had no answer for it. Now, think about what that means heading into Monaco. Hamilton has 3 Monaco wins, 2008, 2016, 2019. His last win was 7 years ago, but this is a circuit he understands at a level very few drivers in history can match. He knows how to qualify at Monaco. He knows how to manage the race. He knows how to protect a position in traffic and how to attack when the moment arrives. And he's coming here as the benchmark Ferrari driver for the first time all season. Here's why this storyline is so significant. If Hamilton outqualifies Leclerc at Monaco, at Leclerc's own home circuit, the track Leclerc knows better than anyone, it sends an unmistakable message about who Ferrari's #1 driver is in 2026. And if Hamilton wins the race, if Hamilton wins in Monaco, the most famous circuit in the world, his home away from home in a Ferrari, it would be one of the most significant single results of his entire career. Not because of the championship points, but because of what it means. Hamilton left Mercedes for Ferrari chasing one thing, a championship with the team he grew up idolizing. A Monaco win for Ferrari would be the clearest signal yet that he made the right choice. McLaren boss Andrea Stella even told the media this week that he believes Ferrari could be the benchmark around Monte Carlo. When your rival's team principal is calling you the car to beat, you're the car to beat. Here's the thing about Monaco that makes it completely different from every other race on the calendar. Qualifying doesn't just decide grid position. At Monaco, qualifying basically decides the race result. Overtaking on the streets of Monte Carlo is so difficult, barriers so close, runoff so limited, that the driver who starts at the front almost always stays at the front. That's why what happens on Saturday afternoon matters more here than anywhere else. Ferrari head into qualifying as the bookmaker's favorite. Leclerc has pole positions here in 2019, 2021, 2022, 2023, and 2024, 5 in the last 6 years at Monaco. He's the greatest qualifier this circuit has ever seen in the modern era. But Mercedes have qualified on the front row at every single race this season, both cars. 1-2 in qualifying every time, without exception. That run ends or continues on Saturday. Antonelli says he thinks the smaller 2026 cars could actually allow some overtaking at Monaco, something the drivers haven't been able to say about this circuit for years. The new cars are shorter, lighter, and more compact than the regulations have produced in over a decade. There may be gaps at Saint-Devote, at the chicane, maybe even through the harbor section that simply didn't exist in previous years. If he's right, if there actually is racing at Monaco in 2026, then the strategic picture changes completely. A car that starts fifth but has genuine race pace could win, which makes Ferrari's task simultaneously easier and more complicated. But if Monaco is traditional Monaco, where qualifying decides everything, then Leclerc on pole in a Ferrari at his home circuit is the closest thing to an unbeatable position in modern Formula One. So here's where we are heading into Monaco 2026. Antonelli arrives as the champion-elect in form. 4 wins, 4 poles, the youngest championship leader in history. But he's on a circuit that neutralizes his biggest weapon, and he knows it. Ferrari arrive with the car that suits Monaco better than anywhere else all season. 2 drivers who both have claims to being the race favorite. Leclerc at his home circuit, driven by 7 years of heartbreak and 1 redemption. Hamilton in the form of his Ferrari career, hungry for his first win in red. McLaren are quietly confident too. Norris won here in 2025. Piastri has been consistent all season. They believe the slow corners suit their car. Don't write them off. And Mercedes, facing the most serious challenge to their dominance since the season began, are not arriving empty-handed. They have another upgrade coming. They've reportedly closed the gap on Ferrari's launch advantage. Antonelli is 19 years old and won 4 races in a row. He won every time. He broke records that belonged to Hamilton and Vettel and Senna. And heading into Monaco, he looked you in the eye and said Ferrari are going to be the team to beat here. He might be right. Or he might win his 5th race in a row on the streets of Monte Carlo and prove that genius doesn't care about circuit characteristics. Monaco answers that question on Sunday. And we'll be here to break down every second of it. If this video got you ready for Monaco weekend, hit subscribe. We cover every race, every storyline, every detail. Drop a comment below. Does Antonelli's winning streak end in Monaco, or does he make it 5? I'll see you after qualifying.